We're going to learn how to talk this podcast. I want to talk about manifestation and I want to talk about faith. We're not just sitting back and praying and then all of a sudden the weight of the world was off my shoulders. God is literally up there cheering for you. Just imagine him listening to my podcast. Watch him. Girl, I am not watching that podcast. Welcome back to Talking Too Much with Hanna O'Reilly. I'm Hanna O'Reilly, and this is episode 11. No MK from the streets today. She's booked and busy. She's too big for us now. This podcast took off, and she was like, see ya. So you won't be seeing her for a little bit, but we wish her well. That was a fun episode to do. We really had a good time, and I think she enjoyed being able to share it and tell her friends to listen. And then I saw some of her friends yesterday. They were visiting at my parents' house, and they were just laughing about some of the things she had to say because like they had lived with her in college and they just knew like her tendencies and her jokes. And so it was just fun to watch them like recap all that. And all that to say, it was a huge success. If you haven't watched that episode yet, that was episode 10 with my sister Mary Kate. And yeah, it was great. It was great. But we're back. We're back. Episode 11, solo episode. That's okay. I can hold my own. We're here. Guys, I have a little sweater on. Okay. It's like fall vibes out. I'm sure if I walked outside in this sweater, I would be sweating, but there was a little breeze this morning of the windows open and I'm like, we're putting on a sweater. Okay. And I got a leaves candle going from Bath and Body Works. I will say that is the best candle to get from Bath and Body Works. You will get bang for your buck for that one. My sister also sent me white pumpkin this morning that I need to get. It's August. It's fully August, but we're talking about pumpkins. Sometimes I've gotten candle from Bath and Body Works and I can't smell it as strong as leaves. Like you can smell it, but just not to the intensity of leaves or white pumpkin. And I just can't. Once you have one that's that strong, I just can't go back. Like I could be 2 floors up and I can smell it. So anyway, if you have any questions about candles, I'm your girly. So today's episode, I had been going back and forth on what I was going to talk about. I love talking about what's going on in pop culture and shows and things like that. And when I do more episodes, or give my like hot takes or my opinions on things, like I love doing that. It's just easy for me to just spitfire. But sometimes like that's just not the vibe. And I start getting in my head like, that's what we're talking about. Like, that's what's fun, right? And then I become like, almost like it has to be all or nothing. Like either we're always giving hot takes or we're always talking about shows, we're always telling jokes, or we're just going to be an advice podcast. And my whole goal with this podcast is that it wasn't going to be a boxed in thing. Like we wouldn't just be talking about one topic. That's why it's called Talking Too Much. And I was talking to my friend about this and she's like, girl, the title of the podcast is talking too much. Like we're talking too much about a lot of different things, a lot of different subjects. Just like if you were to call up a friend, every phone call is most likely going to be different. You're going to be talking about what happened that day. You're going to be talking about a new show, a new snack you tried, or you're going to be talking about some of the deepest advice you could give someone. And that's what I want this podcast to be. So we're not really going to talk shows today. I don't think I have any hot takes to share. Maybe one will pop into my head as I'm going, but I want to talk about that all or nothing. And I want to talk about self-growth. That was not English. That was not even the correct words. I think I said self-growth. Self-growth. You know, we're going to pivot. You know what? We're going to learn how to talk this podcast. Okay? You know I mean business today. I have water with a piece of lemon in it. She's on a different level today. Okay. So this episode, I want to touch on a bunch of different things. I want to talk a little bit about all or nothing mindset. I want to talk about manifestation and I want to talk about faith. Okay? Because that is such a big part of my life and it is the root of everything I do. And I just feel that if I don't bring it up or I don't talk about it from time to time, I'm not being true to myself. Like when I talk to my friends and I send them voice memos, I'm bringing up faith, okay? I'm also bringing up the shows and the foods and all those things, but faith is such a big part of me and I'm like, I'm going to share this on the pod. So So I talk about my faith probably almost every single day, but the reason I wanted to bring this up in particular is because I was talking to my friend about manifestation. So I love manifestation. Like, I do believe that your thoughts control what you do, your future, and I'm very lucky. My parents growing up were very big on mindset and the way we spoke, and they still are to this day. I remember I would say things like, I wish, or I would love if, and like use words like if, or I'm just this. And they would have us reframe what we were saying. So it would be like, no, you don't say what if, you say when. You don't say I'm just this, you say I'm this. There's no just. So I really appreciated that because I am very, very cognizant of that now. Like, if I hear my friend say something like, if only, I correct them. Like, that's when I think it's appropriate to correct, because you're viewing your friend as like higher than they're viewing themselves. Like, no, not if only, when, or it's gonna happen. Like, very like matter of fact. And when you take a step back, that is a form of manifesting. You are manifesting through the words that you speak, because the more matter of fact you are, the more that you're putting it out there, and the higher your chances are that it becomes a reality, whatever it is you're talking about. Money, success, anything. I like manifesting because I like the belief that like you almost live in like this delusion of sorts. Like, it's not delusion because it will happen, but you have to almost be delusional now and see it for yourself in the future, that you're embodying it right here, right now. Okay? I hope you're keeping up. Okay? I know you guys get this. You guys are smart. I know you get what I'm saying. So, I actually had seen a video online and it said, to fall asleep, you have to pretend to be asleep first. And I thought that was the coolest thing, because I'm like, wait, that's so true. That's to say, to be the thing, you have to pretend to be the thing first. And then that thing comes. So you're pretending you're falling asleep, eventually you'll fall asleep. You're pretending you have $1 million in your pocket, you'll have $1 million in your pocket. So I'm very big into this manifesting. I don't do it every day. I do it every day naturally, but I don't like sit and journal and watch the videos and do the thing every single day. And I know some people who do it every day. They practice at it. They stick to it. They're very, very big into it. But the other day I was talking to one of my friends and she was like, I'm loving this manifesting thing, but I gotta be honest, it's starting to get a little overwhelming. And I think that comes with a lot of things, especially when it comes to social media and videos and things we're consuming. It can become so, like, you don't even know where to start. Like, it's so much information and it's so much in your head. And you're like, then you start getting confused. Like, did I manifest negative things that happened to me? Am I manifesting? Is manifesting only used for good? It can get a lot. So I was talking to her and she was asking for some advice, and she was like, listen, like I need some guidance here. Like, almost like she just needed to talk to somebody who could kind of like calm things down in her mind and help her get back to her core. Now, the thing with manifesting is, for me, manifesting is my faith. So even though we call it manifesting, to me, it's their prayers. I think one of the downsides with manifesting is it almost becomes, and listen, again, I love manifesting, so I'm not here to talk bad on it at all. But there are some negatives that you almost have to be aware of if you're doing it. You almost start to feel like everything is in your control, like to the point where anything that happens to you, good or bad, on a daily basis is your fault or your reasoning. That it's because of something you did, something you said. And I don't fully believe that's the case, because I believe that God's in control. I believe God's in control of our life. I believe that God's most certainly in control of my life. Now, he gives me the tools and he expects me to use those tools wisely. And make the right decision and put myself out there. It doesn't mean you can just sit back. We're not just sitting back and then just speaking, manifesting words, and then all these things are going to happen. Or we're not just sitting back and praying, and then all of a sudden, $1 million falls into your lap. You need to actively be working at it, making sure you're asking God to put you in the right rooms, remove you from rooms you're not supposed to be in, things like that. So my friend was starting to feel overwhelmed about this manifesting. And I said to her, I think the issue, for lack of a better term, with the manifesting is it's becoming so overwhelming that you feel like the whole world is on your shoulders. And you're feeling like everything is because of you. And it's not. Okay? Yeah, a big chunk of it is like obviously a big portion of what happens to us is our decisions and our mindsets and where we apply ourselves. But there does come a time where you need to give it to God. God is the one that's going to make sure that you are where you're supposed to be. He's going to make sure you have the things you need. The more energy and the more work you put into your relationship with God, the more He provides, the happier you become, so on and so forth. Now, I am not a preacher. I listen to podcasts like, if you know Allie Yost, I listen to Girls Gone Bible. I do listen to those. Those girls study this stuff and they are so educated on it. And I'm not where they're at, so I'm not gonna, I don't want to misspeak, but this is what I do and this is what I believe. So I do believe that any blessing I have in my life is because of God. God gave me tools back in the day, and I decided what I was going to do with those tools to push myself forward or to hold myself back. So, her and I got talking, and I started to apply it to my own life. And I think this happens a lot, that because of how much we're exposed to in life, things can become overwhelming. The comparison can become overwhelming, the feeling lesser than, all of it. You can just start to feel like, oh my gosh, I just need this to shut off. So last night, I was like, I'm just going to pray. I'm going to mind my business, okay? Imagine that. We're going to mind our business. And I'm going to pray about my situation, my life, my goals, my dreams, and give it to God. And I felt such relief. Like, I felt like, almost like God was saying, just focus on what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And stick with it. I will make sure that your path ends up where your path is supposed to end up. And I just felt like the weight of the world was off my shoulders, because when you're doing the manifesting thing, it's like, oh my gosh, like I didn't do it tonight. Like I didn't write the right thing 10 times, or I didn't speak it into existence correctly. But when you're talking to God, because He created you, He knows how you speak. He knows, like you're chatting with a friend. You obviously, there's like a whole different, like there's like a respect level and all that, but you are chatting with a friend who understands you like no other. And I feel like friend is putting it lightly. He knows what you mean when you're saying it. He's not mishearing you. He knows the visions you have in your head. And I think the other thing that's really great is, like, I heard this, like, even on the days where you're not rooting for yourself or you're feeling like doubt creep in and all that, God is literally up there cheering for you. He is literally like, you got this. Like, come on. Like, you're doing the thing. Like, I just imagine Him listening to my podcast and watching. He'd be like, I am not watching that podcast. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. But I just envision Him listening to the podcast and being like, yes. Like, she's finally doing it. And like, it's just going to keep growing and growing. And if she sticks with it and minds her business and does what she needs to do to be successful, I will provide. So that's how I'm feeling right now. And I'm hoping this is like helpful for you guys. It's so hard for me to give advice on this podcast and not bring it back to God, because I do truly believe that is I mean, that is the reasoning for everything I do. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, whether it's a decision you have to make or just your daily life, like anything that's going on, like my career path or like, where am I going to end up? What city am I going to live in? What's next? If you just pray to God, like he honestly calms you down. He's just like, I got you. Relax. And almost like things become silent. The noise starts to go away. Okay, this is like, I may have said this on an episode before, but I use this like in my real life a lot. When I start to feel so overwhelmed by things that are happening in my life, like even if it's like not even supposed to be overwhelming, I'm just making it huge. And I notice it a lot if I'm consuming content. It's almost like tabs are opening in my brain every time I watch a video, and then I have 1,000 tabs in my brain, and that's why we can't fall asleep. I almost explain it as a filing cabinet that is tipped over and the drawers opened up, and all the files of everybody's life that I've consumed on social media has just dumped all over the floor, and I can't find the paperwork that's supposed to go in the file for my life. And it's getting mixed in with other people's. I don't know where I stand with certain things. I don't know what my aesthetic is. I don't know what foods I like to eat. I'm just naming things. But like, you start to get very confused. Like, is this because of me? Am I doing this because of someone else? Do I actually like this outfit? Do I actually want to eat this for dinner? It starts to get very all consuming. And the filing cabinet example is like, I feel like the best way to visualize it. Like, you're just like, where is my file and what are the things I need to do? And where are the papers that are supposed to go in my file? And when I pray, I feel like the floor is cleaned up, the files are put back in their place, and all God hands me, instead of showing me the entire filing cabinet, he hands me the file with my paperwork in it. It's just a file that has to do with me, myself, and I, and the decisions that I'm supposed to make and I want to make. And I don't know, it just like calms things down. Like it is so incredible when I visualize it like that, and I pray and the noise calms down, and suddenly I'm back on track, and I don't care what anybody else around me's doing. Like in terms of like comparison, in terms of like, you know, I've said this a million times, like the podcast, like there's 50 million podcasts out there. If I sit there on the podcast app on Apple or Spotify, yeah, I'm going to get overwhelmed. I start watching clips on TikTok. Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. Now I don't know. Should I be using that song? Should I be using that font? Is this what I should be talking about on the podcast? We're not doing that. We are not doing that anymore. I'm saying it now. Even the outfits I wear, like I'm like, it's a day by day decision. Like I know it's so little, but like sometimes it can become consuming. Like, what do I like? What do I want to wear today? Let's worry about today. We don't need to be all or nothing all the time. We don't need to feel like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. It's not. God wants us to just focus on ourselves, focus on things that are going to make us feel good, act appropriately, help us in the future. He's giving us all the tools. If I don't know. I also have been really into, now I've heard people say they're called universe winks, but I call them winks from God. When you are worrying about something or, okay, I'm just going to use the podcast again as an example. Like I love doing it, but of course, like there's days where I'm like, was that a good one? Like, I hope that was good. I hope I got my point across. Like obviously like a normal human being. And then like throughout the week, like I'll get text messages from people. I've been getting screenshots of text messages that friends of a friend of a friend have sent people being like, I found your friend's podcast. I've been listening to it. And I'm like, there's my wink. That's my wink. A couple of days ago, I was worried about nobody listening. I'm not getting my point across. A couple of days later, I get my wink. I just think you got to keep your eyes out for little things that happen throughout the week, throughout your day, that are meant to keep you going. Like God's literally talking to you in different ways throughout the day. So you just got to open your eyes to it. Even just like getting you out of bed, he's talking to you. Like that's huge. Like he's like, I'm giving you another day here. What are you going to do with it? Come on, girl. Another thing that's been on my mind lately is gratitude. I live an incredible life. Like I really do. I would not trade it for the world. None of it. Now, the thing is, that's something that can be taken for granted because it's just a part of my everyday life. Like, of course I'm going to talk to my friend on the phone. Like, of course I'm going to get out of bed. Of course I'm going to eat food that's in my fridge. I think sometimes we forget that those are gifts. Like, those are gifts that are handed to us every step of the way. I just think it's so important that we recognize that they're gifts. When a friend gives you a gift or a family member gives you a gift, your first thought is, I'm going to text that person, I'm going to call that person, I'm going to write that person a thank you card. That was the nicest thing ever. I can't believe they did that for me. Yada, 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 yada. Every day, God gives us gifts. Are we calling him and saying thank you? Are we shooting him a text message and saying thank you? No. Are we even stopping to register that that was a gift? No. We're in a trance in our day-to-day. We're overwhelmed by the stuff we're consuming. We're not taking a second to take a step back and say, that was a gift. That was a wink. That was a gift. That's a blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel the more you live in gratitude, the more abundance starts to happen. You get more things in abundance. I'm not saying that's why we do it. You don't thank someone for a gift so they buy you more gifts. You thank them because you mean it. You thank them because you actually recognize that that was so thoughtful and kind. But I do feel when you live a life of gratitude, you almost start, like, all you can see is the gratitude. All you can see is the abundance of things around you. You slowly stop viewing things in lack. I think that's been another thing that I've been wanting to work on. I have found myself living in lack some days. And I don't even mean to do it intentionally. Like, again, like I said, like, I do live such a blessed life, but it's so easy to just be like, yeah, I have a house, but it doesn't have like a new couch. Yeah, I have a rack of clothing, but it's nothing designer. It's almost like everything that you see or you have, you almost find a way to be like, yeah, yes, yeah. This is me talking about myself, by the way. But, you know, if you can relate, trust me, I got you. I see you. I got you. Even just like a simple, like, I get in the car every day and I just like get in the car and like I just start driving. I've been working on it, but I'm like, we have a car that we can fill with gas and drive to our job that we love, and we're making money and we're having a fun time and we're visiting friends after work, and, you know, we call our friends on the drive home or a family member on the drive home, and just or we can listen to music if we want, or listen to Talking Too Much, episode 11. There's just so many things that, like, if you start viewing it as like, how lucky am I? How blessed am I? If you start putting that in front of everything, like, that's my goal, okay? That's my goal. It's my goal for me. That's my goal for you. Everything you do, think to yourself, how lucky am I? How blessed am I that I get to sit here and record this podcast? How blessed am I that I'll get to take a shower later and I have running water? I just want to live this life of, like, all I see is abundance. All I see is everything as a gift. And I'm telling you, like, I've challenged myself to this before, and like I've fallen off, and I want to get back on. You start viewing life a lot brighter. Like, I'm not kidding you. Okay. Call me Delulu. You start viewing the trees brighter. You start noticing flowers. You start noticing when the sun's out. When it's cloudy out, you're like, oh, I kind of like this moody vibe. Like, you just start, everything you are able to see as a positive. There's no lack. Now, on the flip side of this, don't beat yourself up if there's a day you want to vent or you want to complain. Like, we're all human. We're all human, and God knows it. You just got to let yourself vent and get back on track. Okay? This is me, like, giving you permission. Like, I'm just yapping, okay? It's going to take time. It's going to take effort, especially when you live your life in autopilot. It's so easy to forget. It's almost like a muscle that we're going to have to work at, a gratitude muscle. Okay? That's what we're calling it, gratitude muscle. I'm sure there's a better name we could come up with. Leave it in the comments if you can think of something. But, like, I don't know. I had been having these feelings of, like, no matter how much fun I have somewhere, I just feel like there's like a void in me. Like a little piece. It's little because I am able to zoom out and be like, everything is so great and I love everyone and this, that, and the other. But there's like been this little piece in me that's like missing. And then you think, oh, I'll watch a show. I'll go on my phone. I'll do this. I'll eat this food. And you're like, I'll feel better after this. And then you don't. Maybe you do for a slight second. And then you're like, what is it? Like, it's almost like there's like an itch that like is under your skin, you know? And you're like, what is it? It's faith. It's faith. For me, it's faith. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I don't know why I said sorry. I'm not sorry at all. It's faith. When you work at that and you talk to God and you're grateful and you're looking at everything as a blessing, like things just become so much brighter and better. Now listen, again, because God created us, he knows how you're going to act. He knows how you're going to talk. I was talking to my one friend about this and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to talk about my faith on the pod, but I don't want to become like, that's all I talk about. And like, that's my only thing, because I do love talking about what's going on in pop culture and all the things. And she's like, girl, you need to remember God created you a certain way. He created you with this Spitfire energy and with these thoughts and talking a mile a minute and all that. Like that's why you are the way you are. And you need to act the way God created you. And I'm trying to make little shifts in my day-to-day life and, you know, do the things that I'm saying, but I still want to be myself. That's when the all or nothing comes in. Like sometimes I get in my head and I'm like, okay, now we're a faith-based podcast. And it's like, girl, hold up. Nobody said that. Like you can talk about something one week and then the next week talk about something else. Or you can wear something one week and then hate the way that looked and never wear it again. Like, I just got to get out of this all or nothing mindset. No, like not everything has to be everything. Like, we're all unique because there's little pieces of us that like, almost like you got to view it as like God was making a recipe. Okay. I feel like this is how they teach kids in Catholic school. Like God was like creating a recipe and he grabbed a little bit of like humor off the shelf, put it in the pot. He grabbed a little love for pop culture and put it in the pot, a little bit of fashion, like all these things. And I just think it's important to remember that. Like, we are these human beings that are made up of all these things. And like, I see this online too. Like, if there is like a podcaster or an influencer or whatever online and they have this specific brand, like I find people, they box themselves into one thing. And then they feel like they can't do anything that's outside that box. And I refuse to be like that, because we weren't created to be one thing. Like, let's say there's like an influencer who's like a health conscious influencer. And then all of a sudden she's seen leaving an ice cream shop and people like lose their mind. It's like, the girl can have ice cream. Like, we're just humans. Like, God wants us to enjoy the things. We're made up of different things for a reason. It's not cut and dry. It's not one aesthetic at all times. And I think that can become a little overwhelming. Like, I may sound crazy, but like, you see people like, I don't know, like their house and the car they drive, everything is clean, white, you know, everything is very muted tones and everything is just very, very specific. And they almost get like so crazy that like nothing can be outside the box at all. And it's just like, what is the fun in that? Like, the whole point of this is like, life is just, I don't know, it's just a test. Like, we're just supposed to be here and meet everyone we're supposed to meet and enjoy all the blessings and try everything while we're here and eat all the things. And this is a mix of like figuring out who you are while also trying everything all the time and letting yourself feel everything and talk about everything, and just remembering that like, you were created a specific way for a reason, and you want to stay true to that and stay true to yourself. And that's why I'm on here talking about faith this week. Last week we're talking about the summer I turned pretty. This week we're talking about faith, because that is how I'm built. That is how my life is made up, you know? Like, I am that type of person. I'll talk about any topic. And I just don't want to come on here and never bring faith up when it's been just such a big part of my life for such a long time and will be for the rest of my life. And it's just truly the root of all the good that there is in my life. Yeah, and I'm just so blessed. So I don't know. I hope that helped. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Like, just don't feel so overwhelmed by the weight of the world. Don't feel so overwhelmed that you have to be one thing boxed in at all times. You can't ever pivot. No. God wants us to pivot. God will let us know when it's time to pivot. You know how many times I've pivoted? We're still pivoting, okay? We're making U-turns. We're backing up. We're driving forward. It's a whole thing. Just know, like, you are just the way you are. Like, you don't have to be one specific way. You can do what you want to do. God wants you to do what you want to do. Obviously, within reason. Like, okay, don't take that the wrong way and run with it and then say, well, she said God wanted me to do this. I feel like the more I talk about these things, and it's like now it's almost becoming easier now to know who I am when I talk about these things, because I don't know, I just want to be an all-encompassing person. Like, I want to be a person that can give advice when it's needed, but also like crack a joke if you want to smile, and also like talk about God. Okay? So that's that. And even though this episode is all about faith, I do want to mention two things. One, I think I'm now Team Conrad, and I'm not a Swiftie, but I've been listening to a lot of Taylor Swift. And I think that's something we're going to unpack next week, okay? Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let's talk too much again next week. Bye.